All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So the last week for the crypto market been absolutely incredible. A lot of these projects up, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, even some projects, up like 800%. So with this major event happening in 2 days, this is going to be one of the most important videos that you guys watch in regards to the ISO 222 messaging standard that's taking place. Because on the official Federal Reserve website, it was confirmed on June 18th that this would take place July 14th after pushing this back several months. And even for the past several years, the Federal Reserve Financial Services has worked with the industry to prepare for this upcoming implementation for the Fedwire Funds Service. Now, a lot of you are wondering, what does this mean with this new ISO 222 messaging format? Well, put it simply, it's an upgrade for the entire world, mainly because the dollar is the global currency that's used for settlement and trade. And they were supposed to migrate in March of this year, and it was expected that this transition will boost the adoption of their real-time payment services. So basically making payments faster and cheaper inside the United States. And FedNow, which enables instant payments 24/7, 365 for financial institutions, companies, and individuals. So now the Federal Reserve Financial Services is pushing for banks all across the United States to be ready for this, with the FedNow service having more than 1,400 participants headquartered in all 50 states. If you guys go to their Twitter account, you can see the full list right here, where it says the Federal Reserve's FedNow service is an instant payment infrastructure that allows participating banks and credit unions to send and receive transactions within seconds rather than days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is massive. So ACH wire transfers, gone are going to be the days where it takes 3 to 5 days to receive your money. And you can see right here, as of July 7th, 2025, all of the banks that are implementing this, along with the settlement agents and liquidity providers too. And we can see right here on the list, BNY Mellon is a liquidity provider in New York. So it's no coincidence why BNY Mellon just a few days ago, July 9th, made this announcement saying they're going to...
Nick here. Quick heads up for all you smart investors watching this. If you love to see your crypto actually working for you, earning passive income every single day on your coins, we're putting together something really cool. On July 20th, we're running our first ever free online event challenge. It's called the Crypto Passive Cash Flow Challenge. And it's basically 3 days where you'll learn our DeFi strategies we use to safely earn passive yield on our coins 24/7, even while we sleep. And some people are doing crazy numbers with this strategy alone. And if you had some coins that you're just holding on to, you should join us and discover how to put them to work. We've never done anything like this publicly before, and we probably won't ever do it again. So it's completely free, but we might have to limit spots to keep the quality high and give everyone proper attention with the size of our YouTube channel, over 360,000 subscribers now. So if you want in, just click the link below this video, grab your spot while you can. And now back to the video.
Serve as the primary reserve custodian of Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD to bridge the gap between traditional finance and the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So BNY Mellon is not only the primary reserve custodian for RLUSD, but they are also listed as one of the main settlement agents and liquidity providers for the Federal Reserve's FedNow service. And if you look right here at the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, Corporate Applications, you can see a new bank charter has been proposed, and the bank name, Ripple National Trust Bank, based in New York. So this isn't just about crypto anymore. This is a financial infrastructure shift happening in real time. And on top of that, Donald Trump issued an executive order in March calling on the federal government to shift almost exclusively to using electronic payments by the end of September. This means ditching paper checks for U.S. payments as well as U.S. collections from taxpayers and others. So depending on what bank you bank with, you're going to start to see these notifications pop up in your account, like this one right here, saying on July 14th, per Federal Reserve requirements, our wire sending format will be switched from FAIM to ISO, resulting in updates to data fields for wire transfers. And this is the same exact week where the much anticipated US stablecoin bill is expected to pass. So it's not just a coincidence, guys. This is all coordinated here. So what this means is we're moving away from a debt-based system and stepping into a new credit-based era, a financial system that puts power back in the hands of the people. Where ISO is a global financial messaging standard, basically code, just like how blockchain is also code. In order to participate in the system, your infrastructure must speak the same language. So banks of the future are going to need to adopt this, along with cryptocurrency companies and projects. That's why assets like XRP, XLM, Algorand, HBAR, and a few others have been ISO aligned from the start. They were built for this. But this isn't the finish line here. This is just the start, because by November of this year, SWIFT officially goes live on ISO globally, which is the final piece to the puzzle. And this is where global liquidity truly becomes interoperable. And this is why the USDebtClock.org has been dropping clues for a long time, talking about the new money revolution, a golden age, and Trump has been using this language in his speeches because he knows what's coming. Because with U.S. national debt over $37 trillion and U.S. federal spending at $7 trillion, with U.S. federal tax revenue at only $5 trillion, there's a $2+ trillion federal budget deficit. This is why Trump has been hammering the Fed chair Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, and Jerome Powell, out of ego, doesn't want to do it, so Trump has been right, and the next step is to fire Jerome Powell. Listen to this.
No inflation, our country's strong, our interest rate should be 3 points lower. If our interest rate was 3 points lower, that's almost $1 trillion in cost. And it's done just by the signing of a pen, but we have a moron at the head of the Fed. He's a moron.
So as you guys already know, since April of 2022, the Fed has been raising rates until August of 2023, then pausing rates. They drop rates for a little bit, but now Jerome Powell has just been keeping rates steady and flat since January of this year, when it's time for him to start lowering interest rates, which makes overnight loans cheaper for banks and overall is incredibly bullish for the crypto market. On top of that, the Fed has been tightening on their balance sheet since 2022, falling to the lowest level since April of 2020. So in June, the Federal Reserve cut its balance sheet by $13 billion, bringing it to $6.6 trillion, its lowest since April of 2020. And since 2021, total assets are down $2.3 trillion, which is 26%. Treasury holdings are down $1.56 trillion, now at $4.2. MBS is down $590 billion to $2.14 trillion. And still, the balance remains $2.5 trillion, which is 60% above pre-COVID levels. So pandemic era stimulus is far from fully unwound. And this is known as QT, or quantitative tightening. So this process is expected to continue for some time, with the Fed slowing the pace of runoff. And you guys can go to the federalreserve.gov under their monetary policy, and you can look at it over the past 3 months. You can see right here, it's bottomed out on July 2nd. And so depending on what Jerome Powell says in his next speech will really determine the next few months for the Fed balance sheet, because it's not yet determined if they're going to start adding to their balance sheet again, because it's going to be driven by economic conditions and the need to adjust the supply and interest rates, where the decision to end quantitative tightening and begin quantitative easing is going to vary based on economic growth, which Donald Trump says the economy is doing great. Jerome Powell says they still need to just keep watching it, whatever that means. Inflation, the Fed's target is 2%. Well, if you guys go to the inflation rate right here, it's showing 2.4%, whereas trueflation shows 1.69% below the Fed's target. And then ultimately, the stability of the financial markets would be used to address their quantitative tightening program. So according to Google's AI, it's difficult to pinpoint the exact date because it's based on opinions and also Jerome Powell and what he wants to do. Well, a lot of market experts and major institutions are expecting the Fed to stop quantitative tightening in late 2025 this year. Wells Fargo economists believe that the Fed will stop shrinking its balance sheet at the end of this year, with the balance sheet remaining flat through the middle of 2026. And then some analysts suggest that the Fed may be engaging in stealth quantitative easing by reinvesting principal payments from agency debt and agency mortgage-backed securities into Treasury securities. But nonetheless, after 3 years of quantitative tightening, the Fed's balance sheet is screaming oversold right here on the chart. So nothing stays oversold forever, and rate cuts will lead the charge. Liquidity injections follow, and then risk on accelerates, which basically is the main catalyst for alt season that we need, because inflation is low right now and Jerome Powell is just holding on, not wanting to lower the effective federal funds rate until something breaks. And as you guys can see back here, in March of 2021, inflation was at 2.6%, and then by April it went to 4.2%, and it just trended all the way up until June of 2022, that entire bull run. So if inflation starts to tick up, well, that's bullish for the crypto market. So we're in a really good position right now for crypto. And on top of that, M2 in yellow here, or the global liquidity index that shows expansion in money globally, which is one of the main catalysts that actually moves the markets right here. You can see last bull run, what took place from March of 2018 when global liquidity was retracting or tightening and then started to expand slowly but surely. After COVID, global liquidity went through the roof because the Fed lowered interest rates drastically and started expanding to their balance sheet. As you can see right here in total assets in millions of dollars by like February of 2020 to June of 2020, their balance sheet absolutely exploded. On top of that, look at where the effective federal funds rate was at. It was at 0.05 to 0.06 or 0.1 over the course of those 2 years. So it was the perfect storm of opportunity. Low interest rates, the Fed adding rapidly to their balance sheet, M2 global liquidity in yellow was expanding rapidly after April of 2020, as you can see. So those three things really create a perfect storm of opportunity for the crypto market. So right now, what we're seeing for M2 global liquidity, since March of 2025, it's broken out and gone into price discovery on yellow here, whereas total 2, the crypto total market cap, is still below its previous high. So it's lagging behind global liquidity, but it's just starting to break out right now. So if global liquidity in yellow at the top of the screen here continues to expand upwards, then that would be an extremely bullish catalyst for the crypto market. Number 2 would be for the Fed to stop quantitative tightening and ultimately quantitative easing to start adding to their balance sheet again, causing investors to be more risk on. And number 3 would be the Fed lowering the interest rates from where we're at right now at 4.33%. So it's all coming together because it's no coincidence why a statement from the chairman of the board of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is reporting that Jerome Powell is considering resigning. So similar to what happened with Gary Gensler, where before he could be fired or told off, he steps down to save his ego. This is what's happening with Jerome Powell right now. And at the end of this document, he says, I think this will be the right direction for America and the economy will boom. So everyone wants Jerome Powell gone. And this is all happening in divine timing while the Federal Reserve is shifting over to the ISO 222 standard, where the largest source of present day volume with money traces its roots back to the creation of the FedWire at the turn of the 20th century, where FedWire was the first mechanism to move money electronically. Fast forward to present, in 2022, actually a few years ago, just over 1 quadrillion. That's 1,000 times bigger than 1 trillion in transfers originated through the FedWire in a single year. So I don't think people realize how big this is going to be for the ISO projects long term. Since then, the Diners card ushered in Visa and MasterCard in the 1950s and 60s, and a consortium of the largest U.S. banks came together to create the clearinghouse TCH and its ACH payment network in 1970s. Until TCH launched the real-time payment network in 2017, there has been no major payment innovation in U.S. rails for banks in over 40 years. Until 2 days from right now, depending on when you're watching this video, FedNow will join the real-time payments in enabling businesses to send funds in real time, anytime, any day of the week, and then globally by November of 2025, later this year. And here's where this gets really interesting because Finastra, which has a partnership with RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging, allowing existing bank systems to route payments effectively, leveraging instant settlement to transact in seconds instead of days. Well, with this partnership, regulated financial businesses and institutions and banks can connect to RippleNet's network via a Fusion Total Messaging adapter using standard FIN messages, allowing them to control their file and messaging flows, seamlessly integrating with payments and treasury systems, reducing the risks and costs associated with onboarding. So Ripple having partnership with central banks across the globe, guys, they are a part of the whole infrastructure by November 2025. And this is just the start in the United States. So RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging is going to provide interoperability